This happened to me and my girlfriend I was dating back in the summer of 2014. This all took place in South Carolina, and my girlfriend and I wanted to take a camping trip. We initially tried to go to a place 45 miles from our hometown, but they were going to charge us double what we thought we were going to pay for. We decided to head back, and it just occurred to me there's a spot in very close to where we live. Now I will say it's more boondocking and off-grid. We didn't have to pay for anything, just parked the car and we got out. This place is quite gorgeous. There's a historic bridge and trail, also some of the oldest railroad tracks in the South. We got there before sunset, so we had plenty of time to pitch the tent and set everything up. There were a few cars when we arrived, but they were most likely hikers and would be gone by nightfall. The only thing that made us uncomfortable was a busted up and rusted old white van with no license plate. We both pointed that out thinking it was weird, but we shrugged it off and started walking to a good place to set camp up. After several hours around 3 a.m. following some quality time spent with her and taking in all the nature and then going to sleep, we started to hear this obscure singing and walking around our tent. Anytime you hear commotion that early in the morning, nothing good can happen out of it. I peered my head out the tent to see what was going on. I didn't see anything or anyone, but nonetheless I didn't want to stay in that area when we both were freaked out. Just because I couldn't see it doesn't mean it's not there. I did a decent walk around our tent. As we were quietly gathering our belongings, we swore we heard the singing get louder. I recall words in this song he was singing had "Now won't y'all come out," followed by this raspy laughing. Once we finally packed the tent, that was when crunching on the leaves and his humming is what we heard, so we knew this guy was close by. We booked it. I grabbed her hand and threw the tent and folding chairs on my back. We made sure to run the opposite way from where all his noise was coming from. Luckily, we set camp up fairly close to the parking lot because I could see lights through the trees. As we ran and scurried away from whoever was chasing us, we noticed the lights from the parking lot wasn't just the street lights, but also, to our horror, it was that old rusty white van we saw at the beginning. We hurried uphill just hoping this guy was alone. His van was right in front of mine. If he had an accomplice, that would be another person to deal with. As we reached the lot, we got into the bright streetlights. I noticed my girlfriend's hand make a slight twitch and her pace slowed down. From that, I could tell she was turning her head to take a look at our attacker. I heard her gasp loudly, "Come on, don't look, we're almost there." She focused back and we continued running in unison. This guy was getting closer as I can hear the noise of the gravel intensify. I heard his wheezing and him barking, "Don't y'all think you'll get away?" As we just made it past the van, we split and I handed her the keys so she could unlock/start the car, and I can throw all the gear in the trunk and we can make it out of this place. As I frantically laid the camping gear in the back seat and head to the driver's side, that was when my body faced forward for the first time in a while. Every noise this guy was making was close and amplified now. With the car running, I kept my head down to put it in reverse, but curiosity got the better of me. In the brightness of my headlights, this man was a behemoth with a stern, wrinkled face with red patchy hair. A goatee that had dirt and crud smeared over it. His eyes were fixated on us like a scope magnifying on two 10-point bucks. He was wanting to kill. "Get back here," he barked, waving a baseball bat back and forth. I shook my head, and with that I swerved out and we were on the way out with our hearts racing. In the rearview mirror, we saw the man slam the bat in frustration. A narrow escape. We drove to Waffle House and spent the rest of the early morning until the sunrise. This is a 100% true story that happened about 14 years ago now. It's going to sound pretty insane, but I swear that everything I'm about to tell you actually happened. During the fall semester my senior year of high school. Every night after dinner with my family, I'd walk my dog Jessie down the street to a small field near our house. Two things you should know. 1. My house is situated on a hill and you have to walk over the top of it and all the way to the bottom to get to the field. Lined with trees, lots of street lamps, so it's pretty well lit, but can still seem spooky at times. 2. Jessie is one of the most well-behaved golden retrievers I've ever seen in my life. She never barks at anyone, never runs off. She doesn't even chase squirrels, so normally I don't keep her on a leash when we're just walking down the street. Anyway, so I start walking with her down our steps to the street. Just like any other night, it's about 9:30 p.m. and the sun is long gone. We usually just walk down the middle of the road because not that many cars drive through. Jessie's not on a leash but right by my side as we round the top of the hill to go down, when all of a sudden we see a woman walking toward us in the middle of the road. We're at the top of the hill and she's about halfway up, staggering in this weird, unnatural sort of way. She was walking almost as if she was a ghost out of The Grudge or some horrible Silent Hill character, but when I first saw her, I wasn't really scared, just more worried if she was okay. I thought maybe she'd been hit by a car and one of her legs was broken, but she was moving along in a jilted but steady pace. She had long black hair and a dark dress. Her skin was pretty pale in the street lamp's light. I didn't really know what to do or make of this scene. I just kind of stopped, staring at her, when suddenly Jessie started running toward her, barking like crazy. I've never seen her bark like this before. I honestly feel like if someone broke into our house, she'd just go up to them expecting to be petted. But here, she was growling ferociously, almost like she was ready to strike. I chased after her, only catching up when she was right in front of the woman, basically barking in her face. The woman didn't react at all. She didn't jump, didn't put her hands out. She just stood there staring at my dog. I bent down, grabbing Jessie by the collar to pull her back. I was maybe 2 feet from the woman. I started apologizing profusely, but when I turned my head up to look at her, I stopped. I'm crouched down, looking up at her with a street lamp shining down on both of us. She slowly turns and looks down toward me without saying anything, and I immediately see it. She doesn't have a face. Not in that her features were all mixed together / washed out. Wait, she literally doesn't have a face. It's complete blackness. Like looking into the sky and staring at the blackness between 2 stars. I can see her hair, I can see her neck, but I can't see a single feature between. I'm telling you, it was absolute and utter black. A void. I looked into it, stopped dead mid-apology as she looks down back at me without a word. After a few seconds of us just staring at each other in silence, she turns away and looks back forward, commencing to walk again. I let go of my dog's collar, more in surprise than anything, and immediately Jessie runs away to the other side of the street. Chasing after her, I catch up and grab her collar again on the sidewalk now. It couldn't have been more than 3 to 5 seconds, but holding my dog again, I turned to look back at the woman and she disappeared. At the rate she was walking, it should have taken her at least 30 seconds to get to the top of the hill, but there was nothing. She completely vanished. At the time, this was weirdly the most unsettling part for me. What the hell just happened? Did it even happen? My dog had reacted to her too, so I wasn't the only one who saw it. Slowly, I took Jessie the rest of the way down and watched as she ambled around the field. The whole time I kept looking over my shoulder, deeply afraid that something was going to sneak up on me. All night, I became more and more bothered by what happened, trying to rationalize it away. Maybe the way her hair fell blocked the light, but I would have seen something, the tip of her nose, part of her mouth, but there was nothing. Literally nothing. I'm not religious, and the logical part of me doesn't believe in ghosts. If there's no heaven or hell, how do you explain this kind of afterlife where we still keep our bodies? Our minds? I don't even know. I still don't quite believe in spirits, but I genuinely can't explain what happened that night. I've had some lesser encounters with weird phenomena, but this is the only time I've been within arm's reach of a ghost. Actually stared one in the face as it looked back at me. I'm happy to hear any of your thoughts and answer any questions you guys might have. What do you make of this? To make it even creepier, if you Google ghost without a face, the first result is this Wikipedia article. Which story did you like best? Comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until we meet again.